But now, I want your calls on this. Should everyone work a 4-day week? 0207 862 2222 is the number that you need to tell us what you think. Now, a 6-month trial of a 4-day working week at 17 companies involving nearly 1,000 workers has concluded, and I have to say all 17 companies, that they are going to stick to the shorter week. The companies all reduce their overall working hours without cutting employees' pay. Everybody gets paid the same. Paulette, what do you make of this 4-day week?
I am actually not opposed to it. People are working in different ways now.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many people can say in a day they just stick to 9 till 5. Many people work over, they do what they have to do to get the job done. And if you're a mother, a young mom, if you're a dad who's working from in a different place, if you're working from home or hybrid working, I can see the attraction to it. My only little thing would be, if it's a small company, a very small company, I would then be fine asking a few questions. How would they cope without people in place on a certain day if they've only got 5 or 6 people in employment? So that would be my only codicil. But I actually think it's a great idea. People need more leisure. It would stop the stress. It would stop the people having heart attacks so young, and mental health issues also. We need to look at what they're doing in Europe, working and having a good social life.
The results that came back, 62% of workers registered a reduction in how often they experienced burnout, 41% of participants registered improvement in their mental health, 45% registered feeling more satisfied with life, and more than 54% of employees registered an increase in working smart. Albie, good idea?
No.
How did I know?
Look at this research, OK? 5,000 people say they want to work less and get paid the same amount of money, and they're happy with that. I mean, what is the news story here? We all want to work less and earn the same amount of money.
But hang on,
we all want to do
hang on, what's important is that the employers and the companies are sticking with it. OK, yes.
Who are also people who want to work less and earn the same amount of money.
No, but hang on a minute. These are company owners who own the company and are saying this new system is actually making us more efficient and we have a happier, healthier workforce.
Look, this country has a huge problem when it comes to productivity, especially in the public sector. Levels of productivity really haven't changed since the 2008-2009 financial crash. Think about all the technological innovations we've had since then: high-speed internet, 5G, 4G. We are still not more productive now. Despite all of that, we can literally work 24 hours a day from anywhere. We're no more productive now than we were at the end of the 2000s. That is shocking. We need to be looking at how we can make us more productive within the 37.5 hours of the week that people work now.
But the hours,
not reducing it to 32.
The hours and the amount of productivity and the amount of hours you work are don't necessarily correlate. You might be working 50 hours and still not be as productive. It's how efficiently you work, surely.
Yes, it is. But
so nothing to do with the hours.
How can it possibly be efficient if some companies around the world are working 5 days a week, other companies are working 4 days a week? You've got something that needs to be done.
But that doesn't mean that a company is shut.
Because it's urgent. No, but think about the extra work on that person who's working on the day that you would have otherwise been working. Right. I just don't see how it works.
But then you have that day off, and then the other person takes up the slack. It's give and take. The difference is you have far more leisure time. So you work harder in those 4 days. So you have that time off, and it really does mean you get more quality to your life.
OK, let's hear from people at home. Rob is in Hertfordshire, or Herefordshire, I should say. Rob, apologies for that. Would you go for a 4-day week?
Oh, definitely. I introduced it quite a while back. And
so are you a company owner?
No, I was a manager of a food factory.
OK.
And we were working 5 days a week, and it was quite a difficult job because you had a lot of cleaning down at the end of the day. So you had a 2-hour cleaning down at the end of the day. Well, by cutting it back to 4 days, we reduced that. Company saved money. Production went up by about 20%. The people were happier. we never had hardly any sick people coming in sick because they had those 3 days off. It was, and they all loved it. And we did it in a what we call the production area, and the rest of the factory wanted to join in on it then.
Right. Well, I bet. Rob, thank you for kicking us off. I'm going to see if we can persuade Albi towards the end of this. Their production went up, people were healthier, fewer days. Just keeping note.
I'm keeping it in mind.
Just to see if we can sway you.
Just yet.
Just to see if we can sway you. Alan is in Essex. Alan's going to come and blow it all up, I think, now. Alan, good morning. Would you support a 4-day working week?
Absolutely incredibly wrong thing to do. Take the NHS, for instance, our biggest service provider. You get a 4-day week. Who's going to look after the patients on them all?
They're not all going to take the same day off. Come on.
You cannot make people who are doing a 4-day week incredibly somehow do a 6-day week. You cover people 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in the NHS, for instance.
Yeah, of course, but that's because Paulette can tell you. Paulette can tell you she's been a nurse, right? You're not going to give the entire NHS the same day off.
I've worked as a nurse manager. You've got shifts, so some would do 3 days and take 3 days off and do a day. Some would do 4 days, take 3 days off. You would make sure that the ward or the area is covered, but it just means that you trust staff enough to do...
That's a lot. That's nothing. They won't work if they don't have to work.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
That's not nice.
Alan, I'll leave it there before you upset Paulette.
Yeah.
Let's take another quick one. Kenny's in West Sussex. Kenny, a 4-day week, love it or loathe it?
Love it.
Love it?
Love it.
Have you tried it? Have you been part of it?
Yeah, I work a shift pattern. It's called 5-5-4. I work 4 days and get 5 days off. And then I work 5 days and get 4 days off.
Yeah.
Basically, it's absolutely brilliant. There's a shift opposite us that takes the work when we're not here, and then they get the same days off. It's absolutely fantastic. I get home during the week, able to do the school run and stuff. That's why I took the job.
And what do you say? I mean, Albie thinks that this country's been suffering, and he's absolutely right, of lack of productivity. Our productivity per hour is really low. What can you tell us about productivity? Is it good news for productivity?
It's much higher because we do 12-hour days, and you get as much more work done than you do in a normal week. And then you have 4 or 5 days to relax at home, chill out, and it takes the stress down. And it's absolutely fantastic. As I say, I took the job for that reason.
Well, Kenny, thank you.
You're basically only working with your holiday entitlement. You're basically only working 5 months of the year. It's brilliant.
That sounds great. Kenny, I've got to leave it there. It does sound that the people who've been involved in it seem to like it, and that the productivity doesn't suffer. Have we converted you?
No.
No.
What a surprise people want to work less and earn the same amount of money. I still don't understand. Of course the people involved are going to love it. I'd love it, but it's not practical for my career.
All right. Look, after the break, it's the paper we tried. It's the papers and everything else, including why pupils have been punished for not having school uniforms.